Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Selamat datang ke program Waqaf Ilmu Series, sebuah inisiatif ilmu yang dianjurkan oleh pejabat PJI dengan kerjasama pejabat Infotek UiTM Perak. Bagi tahun ini, kita juga mendapat rakan kolaborasi bagi tujuan penganjuran program ini, iaitu Institut Latihan Kementerian Perumahan dan Kerajaan Tempatan IKPKT. Terima kasih kepada pengurusan IKPKT kerana sudi menjadi rakan kerjasama strategik UiTM Perak. Semoga dengan penganjuran program sebegini dapat meningkatkan ilmu kita bagi semua dalam meningkatkan pengetahuan dan kepakaran masing-masing. Untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, program kita hari ini bersiaran dari kampus UiTM Cawangan Perak dan boleh ditonton bukan sahaja oleh kaki tangan UiTM, kita juga mempelawa tuan-tuan dan puan-puan di luar sana, golongan industri di sektor perkhidmatan awam, pejabat kerajaan, pihak swasta, komuniti dan sebagainya. Program ini bertujuan untuk berkongsi ilmu dan memperkasa pemahaman kita dalam bidang kimia. Di samping memupuk budaya wakaf ilmu sebagai satu amalan bermanfaat dalam masyarakat. I am Farah Zayanah. It is my pleasure to be your moderator for today's session titled Building Bridges in Academia, My PhD Experience and Research Expertise in Australia. We are honoured to have with us Dr. Shaffiq, Zainal Osman Shah, a senior lecturer at the Fakulti of Applied Sciences, UiTM Tapa. Dr. Shaffiq has an impressive academic and research journey, having completed his PhD in Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences at Monash University, Melbourne, one of the top-ranked institutions globally in the field. His groundbreaking research on polymer hydrogel and tissue engineering has contributed significantly to the advancement of polymer science with multiple publications in high-impact Q1 journals. Today, he will be sharing his experiences navigating the challenges of a PhD abroad, the impact of his research and insight into building international collaboration. We look forward to an engaging session filled with knowledge and inspiration. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Shaffiq. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone and salam UiTM di hatiku. It's not too late for me to wish all of you a blessed and a meaningful Ramadan. I am truly honored to be here today and share a little bit about my journey, experiences and aspiration while I'm in Melbourne. So for those who may not know me, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Shaffiq Zainal Shah. I'm a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Applied Sciences here at UiTM Perak. So taking my journey to UiTM Perak is deeply personal. Taking a step back, my roots were here. My grandfather once served as a KTM ticket manager at Tapa Road, and my father was born and raised in Tapa before they eventually moved to Penang and then KL. Today, as I'm the third generation who's living in Tapa. So I pursued my undergraduate studies at the University of Malaya and later began my career as QC analyst, quality control analyst at GlaxoSmithKline. So during my student years, I also had the opportunity to complete an internship with the Royal Malaysian Police, where I focused in determination of illicit drugs in Malaysia. So these experiences strengthened my passion for chemistry and research, setting me on the path to further my education. Then I've completed my MSc in Chemical Biology and Drug Design at Leeds University, England, United Kingdom, and I continued my PhD and completed in Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences at Monash University, Melbourne, Australia. So I also a member of Professional Technologists, Malaysia Board of Technologists and Board since 2024 until now, member, and I'm also a member of Malaysian Institute of Chemistry 2016 until present, and also a member Royal Society of Chemistry UK 2015 until present. So my hobbies are reading, I love traveling, and I love also hiking. So since childhood, I always dreamt of reaching the highest education level of education. So my parents instilled me to love for knowledge, and they have been my strongest driving force. Science has always fascinated me, and I constantly challenge myself to think like a true researcher. Throughout my PhD journey, I was fortunate to be surrounded by individuals who believe in my true potential and supported me unconditionally. So one key lesson I've learned is that success is never achieved in isolation. Expanding my network and collaborating with other institutions have been crucial in my growth as researcher. I am so grateful for the opportunities to work alongside with brilliant minds, exchanging ideas and pushing boundaries. Human nature thrives on social interaction, and the positive people I've met along the way have been instrumental in shaping my journey. So this is my lab mates camping groups in Melbourne with my supervisor, and they are the people who always help me during those days. So life, however, is unpredictable. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2019 was unprecedented event that challenged us all. So lockdown, restrictions, and mental health struggle were real concerns. I faced difficulty returning in Malaysia due to restriction, but I realized that while some things are beyond our control, what really matters is how we choose to move forward. So during this period, I lived in Melbourne CBD with a close group of friends who made sure that I never felt alone. So despite the challenges, I persevered. In December 2023, I've submitted my PhD thesis and was officially conferred my PhD in June 2024. So throughout my PhD, I successfully published 2 research papers as one of the main author and another one as a co-author. So last December, I proudly attended my graduation ceremony. So if anyone asks me, is a PhD worth it? My answer is resounding yes. It was worth every moment of efforts and dedication. So basically, my research focus on hydrogels, so specifically their mechanical properties and biological application. So I'm going to just briefly explain what I've done in Melbourne. So a crucial factor in determining this good hydrogel is a compression modulus, which indicates its strength and how closely it mimics the natural tissue. So this is very important. This is very good for the artificial tissue engineering in the future. So my work basically explored in the interpenetrating polymer network approach, where two polymers form independent networks. So at the time of my study, no prior research has been done which combine the reversible addition, fragment chain transfer polymerization, and crop cation ring opening polymerization to form IPN, interpenetrating polymer network, in a simultaneous way. So the important thing, the important compound is the crop, which is poly 2 methyl 2 oxazoline. So they give a few advantages of crop, such as stealth and low falling properties, hydrophilic properties, is a metal-free polymerization, and the most important thing is the things that we can functionalize of the site change, and also biocompatibility. So as we know that these petox or PMiox or the polyoxazoline is as an alternative for the polyethylene glycol. So as you know that polyethylene glycol is something that is commonly used in household product and etc. So by combining these two types of polymerization, so in a simultaneous way, it gives advantages over the sequential, which is it's a direct mixing, facile, one pot and fabrication, and avoid phase separation. So project design. So again, so I've studied about the same reaction conditions, so to make sure that they have a same radiation conditions and no interference or interaction between the two polymerization. And these are my research aims. So after this is my research aim, which I able to optimize the reaction condition of homopolymerization of PMiox and PDMA, synthesis, the simultaneous polymerization of PMiox and PDMA, synthesis the simultaneous using different cross-linker, BBOX and BAM, and also investigate the simultaneous penetrating polymer network properties such as mechanical properties, swelling properties, and so on. So I've optimized the condition. So I'm just going to briefly, we'll go through quickly because I think the audience might, not have this science background. So I've able to form these hydrogels, the IPNs and homopolymer hydrogels, and in terms of the swelling test. So we can see that in the highest the cross-link percentage of the cross-link of the IPN, it will reduce the swelling and also the water contents. So the most important thing here is when you study about the swelling test of IPN, so basically you would know that because we are trying to mimic the natural or biological conditions of the tissue, so we want to know how much this gel can uptake the water. So and also apart from that, we also need to understand and study the mechanical test property of this IPN and PDMA hydrogel and PMiox hydrogel, because it's very important to know the stiffness and how strong your gel, to closely mimics the natural tissue, in order for us to form the artificial tissue by using this polymer or hydrogel. Apart from the simultaneous way to form the IPN, so I also studied about the polyoxazoline based cryogel, so which basically you can form this cryogel by lowering the temperature below the freezing point. And yeah, there's a few I've conducted a few study in regards of its kinetics, swelling, and so on. And the good things about these cryogels is basically it gives high porosity. So that is something that we are looking into when we are trying to form artificial tissue that closely mimics to the natural tissue. And so I would say that so this is something that once we form this cryogel, so we basically can inject and try to different drug models. So I've did this characterization, do a few imaging on the cryogels, where it give this is something that we are interested to know, how the interactions, how we can inject the drugs into our gel, and how the interaction between our drugs with our gels. That is the most important things when we want to produce an artificial tissue, for instance. And apart from that, it is very important to know that whether the cells can grow within the network. So that is also one thing that we have to consider when dealing with hydrogels or cryogels. So I would like to there's a I would like to acknowledge all of these people who are all supported me throughout my PhD journey. And all the funders and the sponsors, MARA, UiTM, University of Melbourne, Monash University, Australian Government, Australian Research Council, and also St. Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne. So before...
Okay. Dr. Shaffiq.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question. Okay. So how did you choose your research topic? So as we know that in any research, especially for PhD, we need to find the research gap. So it is not easy. So how did you choose your research topic, and how did you find the research gap?
Yeah, thank you. I think it is very important to to do a lot of readings. So definitely we need to do a lot of reading, and also we need to merge our interests with the interests of our supervisor. So we have to work as a team, and maybe the ideas is through the reading. So basically you would know that what you can do for your research. I guess that is something. So apart from that, yeah, through reading, and also we need to you cannot just read and then find the research gap, but of course you need someone that is truly expert in this field, so that they can give advice or input or ideas. All right, so that is something that is priceless to be surrounded by these people.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so in terms of research, during your research, what were the biggest challenges you faced and how you overcome them?
The biggest challenge is, so of course I'm living I was living alone in Melbourne. So the most challenges in my PhD was again the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemics. Was again it's a truly unprecedented event, which challenges all. And I would say apart from that, so of course the research, when your project is not working, so I guess that is some things that the things that always keep motivate me is I always have this thought in my mind. so whenever if you it seems it seems impossible until it's done. So that is keep me moving. So go to the lab every day, like from 8 to 5, like every day, sometimes even in during weekend.
Okay. So how did you maintain the motivation through the journey? Because it's not easy to be positive every day, especially when you are doing your PhD.
Right.
Someday you might feel negative and
Yeah.
not motivated.
So there are a few rules, while you are doing PhD. So of course, one thing is comparison. So stop comparing your project with
Okay.
other projects.
Okay.
And also, because I guess one thing that pushed me forward is my parents. So I will always remember my parents, and they have been my strongest driving force. And I would say other things is also like thinking about all the sponsors, all the trust that they give it to me, when you're doing PhD abroad. So that is something that keep pushing me forward.
Okay. So how did you balance research, personal life, and mental health? Because PhD will take most of the time, most of your time during the day. So how did you balance research, personal life, and mental health?
I would say, yeah, PhD is not it's not an easy task, but I would definitely that is the one things that it is important for you to have a balanced life, and also you need to plan everything, to make sure that everything's plans accordingly. So that's why it's very hard for you, just in my opinion, that is also we are also not, if you are going abroad and then you just sit in the lab, and for me, the way I overcome my pressure is by traveling. So whenever I have a free time, whenever during the public holidays in Melbourne, so basically I would definitely go for travel with my friends, and yeah, that is how I balance, because the pressure was there, but I know that this is something that it's all about balance. It's all about planning and your goals and what you want to achieve for your PhD.
Okay, so during the research, I think I would definitely agree that it is not easy to do research because sometimes you may not get the result that
We
you
wanted,
wanted.
yeah.
Okay, so how did you manage setbacks or failure in your research? How did you overcome the failure during the research?
Yeah, because Farah, I guess because you are doing this, you are also did your PhD in science. So I guess um, we are talking about the science. So of course, sometimes some things that we are looking into it, so we can't really obtain. It's not necessary. Or if you are thinking that, or you will get this result, so it's not going to be positive result all the time. But for me, it is something. If it's not working, you seek help, and you also need to, through your reading, you can basically, get this reasoning behind why it's happening like this, and not what you wanted. Yes, seeking, getting some input from the expert is the best solutions, I
Okay,
guess.
I agree. Okay, so apart from research, I want to ask something else. Okay, so
Yeah.
you further your study in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were your first impression when you arrived in Australia?
I would say because the first impression that I had when I came to Australia was it's a bit different to the European country, I would say, uh, but it's quite close compared to Malaysia, compared to UK. I would say that Australia, in terms of the research, I would say that in terms of research and in terms of expertise, Australia has a brilliant minds also over there. So which is something that I want that kind of supervisionary from them.
Okay, how does life in Australia compared to Malaysia? Is it very different in terms of facility and the culture,
Yeah, of course.
the food?
Yeah, the cultures is is different. But when you go to Australia, they know where is the Malaysia, where is Malaysia,
Okay,
and uh,
or
I don't have any trouble finding Malaysian foods over there. Um, and also I would say I think they are friendly in terms of the facilities. Yeah, they have a maintain facilities over there, and uh, but of course it's expensive. It's all about it's all about money and fundings. If to use that high end instruments.
okay. So can you explain the living cost? How the living cost in Australia? Like you can compare in terms of one bottle of mineral water. So how much in Australia and how much is it in Malaysia? As comparison, because we cannot understand. Can you explain in terms of the living cost?
The living the living cost is quite expensive, so
Okay.
especially if you're a student. But
Okay.
if you are working over there, I
Mm,
think there shouldn't be a problem because you earn a lot of
mm,
quite high salaries over
mm.
there. uh, yeah.
Okay. So is it enough? Enough allowance?
Yeah, it's enough.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, it's enough.
Okay. Okay. So how do you feel Australia has changed you personally or professionally? So when you go to the Australia for 4 years for PhD, did you feel any changes in you?
I would say maybe the way I think,
Mm-hmm.
especially, and I also observe, the way they are thinking
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, so of course they are goal oriented, and, they are, like, let's say, like, they, there is a quote say that great minds talk about goals,
Okay. Yes.
and,
Mm.
you know, um,
Okay.
and not people.
Okay. Okay. So as compared to New Zealand, we know that people in New Zealand they appreciate life better compared to work. So
Mhm.
how in Australia? Do they work hard or they enjoy life better?
Yeah, it depends, but yeah, it depends on people. I believe that in Australia, they work really hard. Some of them are really
Okay.
very hard, and in terms of research, they very try for to obtain good result. Uh, yeah, in my opinion, we cannot compare something that is, some of them are good, like
Mm.
it seems like Malaysia. If we have, um, seems like Malaysia, some will pursue their dreams and some would not. So it depends on individual, I guess.
Okay, okay. So can you just like briefly
Uh-huh.
um, tell us your daily routine in Australia from the moment you open your eyes until you go to bed? So like
Uh,
just we want to know how is your routine in Australia?
so it's not interest. It's not interesting, but yeah. It's not interesting when we talk about our daily routine because I think for the science PhD student we have to go to the lab every
Okay.
day
So you have a
from
boring life.
from eight from 8 to 9,
Okay.
8 to 5, so sometimes during weekend. But again, of course, it's all about planning. Okay, sometimes my housemate invited me to join the
Mm-mm.
badmintons. Then we go
Okay.
along and play along,
Mm-mm.
um, and but I guess during my finals year,
Mm-mm.
so it was very tough because you have to write at the same time,
Okay.
completed your trying to complete your final objective and so on.
Uh, you have mentioned before that your hobby is hiking.
Mhm.
So, would you suggest hiking spot in Australia? Did you do hiking in Australia?
Oh, in Australia, yeah, I did. Not not definitely not mountain. Just a small hill. Yeah, in Australia, there's a lot. A lot of places that you can go
Mm,
for a hike.
okay. So, how about the food? How about the food in Australia? Do you have any favorite Australia cuisine?
uh, in uh, in Australia.
Yes.
So we have basically we have a few Malaysian restaurant over there. There's a one place called Roti Bar, so I will definitely go to Roti Bar.
Roti bar.
Yeah,
Okay.
Roti Bar. We have Mama, and you know, um, I think it's quite diverse when you go to Melbourne CBD.
Okay. So, do you see yourself staying in Australia for a long term?
For a long term. So I'm not thinking to go to to settle down at at Australia, but because I think I am truly inspired by the UiTM slogans, which is globally renowned and locally rooted. Um, because as uh, it deep it's deeply it resonates deeply with me, with um, it's as I believe in contributing in contribute back to the society, particularly to the student of UiTM Perak. Yeah, I will definitely say no. I will maybe to other different continents. I guess.
Okay. UiTM di hatiku.
Yeah, I think that it.
Okay. Okay. So, if you could go back, would you do anything differently?
Um, Yeah, of course, but I wouldn't change any anything differently because I think that was the best actions that I took. All the actions that I took, that is the best time at that times. That is the best actions taken by me at that times.
Okay, so another question. So this is the month of Ramadan. So I believe that you have um, stayed in Australia for 4 years. So how was your Ramadan in Australia? How was your fasting months in Australia? Is it easy, tough?
Um, so when we compare between Malaysia and Australia, so of course I would say Australia have a, a bit short in terms of fasting. So
Oh.
basically from 5 we
Mm-mm-mm.
started our sahur, and after that we breakfast. So it depends. Sometimes at 4,
Mm-mm-mm.
sometimes 5.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, two
Because
hours gap.
the fasting time, it depends on the season.
Yeah,
So when you were in Australia, the season was
when it's summer.
summer,
Uh,
during summer. The Ramadan was during summer.
uh,
Okay.
During summer it will be same like Malaysia.
Hmm.
Yeah, if it's winter it's a bit shorter. So
Oh, okay. So was it winter or summer?
it,
Winter.
winter at 4.
Okay. Okay.
So Australia has 4 seasons.
Okay. How about the Trawi in Australia?
Yeah, Trawi just a normal Trawi.
Normal Trawi.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
And how do you find
Hey,
fasting
no.
in United Kingdom?
United Kingdom also it
So how long it
was
takes?
it was in 2006,
Mhm.
2016. So the Ramadan month was in during the summer season. So we need to fast for 18 hours during that time.
Mhm.
So uh, was very tough during summer, but fasting month will be easier if the fasting month is in
Winter.
winter.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. That's true.
Okay. So if you had to describe Australia in 3 words, what would they be?
Um, Tennis.
Tennis?
Yeah, tennis.
Tennis?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, because they have Australian Open.
Okay.
Um, Beaches.
Okay.
Because they have Australia has a beautiful beaches. And the third one is uh, the arts.
Oh, the arts. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone if they consider to move to Australia for study or work?
Sorry, can you rephrase the question?
If, for example, if you have a friend who wanted to move to Australia for work or study, so would you recommend for them to pursue it or?
Yeah, I would recommend those who wanted to do PhD in Australia, um, but one thing that they should know before register for PhD is in evaluating a PhD thesis as compared to UK, it will be slightly different. Australia, we don't have Viva, and it's 100% based on your thesis. But if you are further your study in UK, PhD in UK, also of course there is a Viva. It's quite similar what on what we have here, in Malaysia.
So what was the biggest challenge living in Australia? Is it the food, the culture, or the expenses? Can you tell us what was the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge, uh, yeah, I think when I was at my lowest point when during the pandemics. So I would say the mental health struggles, were our real concerns at that times. Mhm.
So you will struggle during COVID for in terms of mental health.
Mhm.
Okay. So how did you manage to overcome it?
So again, the support system is very important. So I have a very strong support system in Melbourne. So all the positive I've met along during my journey with my PhD journey really helps me, to because I guess everyone's at that times needs each other,
Okay,
and
yes.
we are trapped in a same house. So definitely
Okay.
we need to help each other. That is normal, as a housemates, um, and I guess everyone's have their own struggles at that times, but uh, is something that unprecedented, which is something new, and yeah, life is however it's unpredictable, as I would say. Yeah, that is how you cope. That's why the technologies that we are having right now, via WhatsApp, we can just video call. But I think during the pandemics, the most constant things that I had in mind was my parents, because they are already 60s at that times, and they are vulnerable to all of this, and I guess that is something uh, because the challenge, where I'm unable to return to Malaysia due to this restriction was so hard at that time. So I wanted to go back at that time, but it was so I can't because
Yes.
this restriction. But alhamdulillah, we move on. Yeah, but that is some things that uh, that is the some things that I guess everyone's learned. Appreciate what we have right now.
Okay. So, uh, did you find it easy to make friends in Australia because you are a Muslim, you are an Asia? So, is it easy for them to accept a foreign student especially in the lab, in the laboratory, and in the university? How did you find that? Is it you were easily accepted in the community?
Yeah. In Australia, you know, they can accept you. They because the diversity, as I said, because
Mm.
there's the diversity,
Mm-mm.
and they uh, being receptive with all of these. They are welcome all the people from others country,
Mm-mm.
and I guess in terms of getting along with them is through or via our same interest. If we are having the same interest, then we can get along.
Same hobby, same
Yes, same
interest,
hobbies.
same
I
favorite
think that is
movie.
normal
Oh yeah, yes,
as well.
yes, yes. Okay. So, how is the research culture in Australia universities?
Research culture,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, research culture. Also, of course, uh, in at Monash University, they we are, I I'm so happy to to have people who love to do science as well. And when we talk about the science, and and I am so grateful to have them alongside my PhD journey.
So earlier you told us that you have a collaboration with another Australian body. So can you tell us more that how you find the networking opportunity for research?
Oh, it depends on what you want to, just a coincidence that one of the expertise, located at University of Melbourne. Andrea, she is, truly an expert in tissue engineering, and so that is something, the opportunity, to collaborate with her. So of course, your supervisor as well, and we had a frequent meeting with Andrea, and so I'll be able to use her lab as well, and knowing her postdoc as well.
So in terms of allowance, research allowance, you have big support in terms of research allowance.
Yeah, luckily that my supervisor is quite rich. That is the most important thing.
Yes.
So because science is quite expensive, because um, science is expensive, and it's involved the chemicals. Even though if you want to use that certain facilities, you have to pay. So there is a cost that you have to bear. So I would say this is 100% from my supervisor.
Okay, so how is your relationship with your supervisor? So how did you manage to find a good supervisor, a rich supervisor? Can you give us tips on how to find one?
Yeah, went for interview many times, and I would suggest talk to his groups, the students who doing research with him or her, before you register for the supervisor, because choosing a supervisor, if you get a good supervisor, that is okay, and if you are not getting a good supervisor, there will be trouble. I guess the support, I think less support, but yeah, alhamdulillah, I've got the good one, like a friend. But when we talk about you have to be professional, and differentiate between work and personal.
Okay, so how does the university system compare to Malaysia? How the system in Australia compared to Malaysia?
What system?
In terms of research and university system.
I've never, I
okay,
didn't
I
know.
forgot.
Yeah.
Okay. So you never experienced. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So how is your relationship now? Do you still in contact with your
Yeah,
supervisor?
I still in contact with my supervisor. Yeah, I think that is important, because expanding, again, as I said, expanding networking is crucial for the growth of as a researcher. And yeah, definitely I would, we are all keep in touch all the time, and maybe some things that we can do together again in the future.
Okay. So enough about research and your supervisor. Okay,
Yeah.
so another question just about culture. Do Australia people have a different culture, like their own Australian culture? Do they have that, like a festive celebration, or like a main culture? No.
The
Yes.
culture, I think Australia, because Australia has a
Very diversity.
beautiful beaches. I think most
Okay.
of them know how to surf and know how to swim very well.
Oh, okay.
So that is Australian culture, and they live summer. I think because white people love summer, I guess.
Okay. So was there any culture shock when you first arrived in Australia? That is like, for example, any um, situation or any scenario that make you shock?
I think because before this I studied at UK,
Mm-hmm.
and the first important step is to observe. That is my
Yes.
advice. When you
Yes.
observe people, and there's a certain boundaries that you cannot
Mm.
cross,
Okay.
because we have to respect their cultures and also not cross the line. That's my opinion.
Okay. How is the transportation facilities in Australia?
Transportation in Melbourne, I think it's it's they have a they have a good transportation. Uh, the trams is very convenient. Melbourne has this unique transport, which is a tram.
Oh,
That
tram. Okay.
that is something is that I miss the most, uh, the tram. Mhm.
So, what is your favorite place you visited in Australia?
The favorite, sorry,
Favorite place?
favorite place. Favorite place would be, I think, I'm
Mm-mm.
not sure like if you ever heard this place, Nullarbor.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nullarbor is a West Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there. Me and my friends went
Mm-hmm.
there during our Christmas break, and yeah, because it's a secluded area. It's good to have your moment, your own moment, I would say. Mhm.
Okay, so how easy it is to travel around Australia from one state to another state? How far is one state to another state? For example, Malaysia, we have Perak. From
Uh,
Perak to Penang, it will took us 2 hours. So how about in Australia? Because we wanted to know how big is Australia. So from one state to another state, how far is it?
yeah, if you travel by car,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna take a
Very long, is
very
it?
long time
Okay.
to reach from one. For example, from Melbourne to Sydney, it may takes hours.
Mm-mm.
But
How
if you,
many hours?
uh,
Melbourne to Sydney.
I'm not really sure because I never travel
Okay.
by
Ha
car.
ha ha ha.
But if you go to, I think if I'm not mistaken, is by plane. It's quite short. But if you go
Mm.
travel by car, no, of course the state Australia has many states. Western Australia, South Australia,
Mm-mm-mm.
Victoria,
Mm-mm-mm.
and so
Okay.
on.
I it's about time, so I think We have come to the end of this sharing session. So I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Shaffiq for sharing remarkable journey, research expertise and invaluable insight with us today. Semoga ilmu yang dikongsi hari ini dapat dimanfaatkan dalam kehidupan seharian kita. Okey, jangan lupa untuk mendaftar kehadiran dalam link yang diberikan dalam ruangan chatbot. Pastikan anda mengisi untuk mendapatkan sijil dan jam latihan. Sekalung penghargaan kepada pejabat PJI dan Infotek UiTM Perak serta IKPKT atas penganjuran program ini. Juga jutaan terima kasih kepada Dr. Shaffiq atas perkongsian yang sangat bermakna.
Thank you for having me.
Terima kasih juga kepada semua peserta yang sudi meluangkan masa untuk bersama-sama dalam sesi ini. Sebelum kita tamat bersiaran, sukacita dimaklumkan kepada tuan-puan sila follow FB PJI UiTM Perak bagi mendapatkan informasi terkini, program-program penyelidikan, jaringan industri dan pembangunan komuniti terkini yang dilaksanakan. Pesanan juga kepada para peserta atau tuan-tuan, puan-puan yang tidak dapat menonton Waqaf Ilmu Series boleh mengulang atau menonton recording di YouTube channel UiTM Perak. Boleh tonton di situ pada bila-bila masa dan semoga kita terus diberi peluang untuk menimba ilmu dalam program akan datang. Dengan itu, saya akhiri sesi ini dengan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.